Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ollie Spider will call in your mouth. And don't forget to get the notification bell and please like Ollie falling.
Maybe you could say it was a bit more very.
Very and very. Did you get it?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh!
Melox and the big race. Nine, George,
Yeah.
Melox and the Big Race. This is written by Monique Matheson.
Mommy's not letting me.
And guess where she's from?
Melox.
The author. Guess where the author's from?
Florida,
Nope.
America.
I mean, she might be, but where does she live now?
Look, Mexico.
Mexico! She's from Leeds.
And it says Melox. Mexico.
I don't think she's from Mexico, but she could be. Maybe. Who knows?
Melox and the big race.
You ready? Let's begin. Oh, and it's illustrated by Jamel Matheson, so they've got the same surname,
So they say family.
same family.
Yeah, man.
Okay, should we start?
Let's go. Sit down then. In the beautiful forest of Bellevue, where the berries grew sweet and juicy, there lived a little black fox named Melox. He was quite shy and lived under a small tree with his grandma and 3 older brothers, Calais, Kish and Kenna. In the very centre of the forest was a legendary passion brand tree. Passion brands were the juiciest, sweetest, most unique fruits in the entire forest. Everybody who had ever tasted them loved them, but only Danny Deer had access to them as he was last year's forest race winner. The Great Forest Race was held every year. Afterwards, Mayor Badger would hand the special key to the winner. As there was only one key in the entire forest, everybody wanted it. Every time Melox attempted to get close to the tree to smell its sweet aroma, he was always told to go away by the guards as they did not like foxes. Melox wished many, many times that he had that special key, but he knew the only way that it could happen was if he won the forest race, and he'd never heard of a fox doing that. Each day, Oliver Owl went round the forest with news, and today he brought news about this year's race. I don't know why he's telling us. Foxes never win the race, Calais said. I might try this year, Melox said shyly. Are you going to sit?
Oh, we do it that way.
Don't be silly. The forest race is no place for us. Have you ever seen a fox win the forest race? It's unheard of, Kish said. Kenna looked at Melox. It's a nice thought, Mel, but your little legs wouldn't beat Danny, so you should just forget about the idea and save yourself the trouble. After listening to his brothers, Melox began to doubt himself. Later, Grandma was out watering her flowers when she spotted Melox looking upset. What's the matter, son? She asked. I really wanted to take part in the forest race this year, but my brothers think I shouldn't because they say foxes never win, Melox said sadly. Do you think you can win? Grandma replied. I would like to try, and I would love to finally taste those passion brands. After hearing her grandson's reply, Grandma thought back to the days.
Let me look at the beginning. I think it's going to win. Because you'll be like, oh, faster, name me one.
Come on, come back down. This was easier. Okay. Back then, she also wanted to compete in the forest race, but was told by her family that it was not the fox thing to do. Secretly, she dreamed for years about what it would be like to take a bite into a big, juicy passion bran. But she had given up on that dream long, long ago. Mel, if I've learned one thing from my many years, is that if you want to do something, you have to go get it and let people talk me out of trying things.
You have to try.
You have to try, that's right. Mel, if I've learned one thing from my many years, it's that if you want something, you have to go get it. I let people talk me out of trying things and I wanted to do, but I won't do the same to you. Though it won't be easy, it's not possible, it's not impossible, and you have to be in it to win it. So I wish you the best of luck, she finally replied. Because why?
Why not?
Why?
Because
You have to
try.
try. Melox looked up at Grandma and smiled. Thank you. Please do not tell my brothers I'm entering. They will try and talk me out of it, he said excitedly. Your secret is safe with me. Now let's go get something to eat, Grandma replied. Over the next few days, Melox trained for the big race, but one afternoon he was spotted by Danny Deer and his sidekick Perry Porcupine. Oi, you! Why are you running up and down? I hope you aren't thinking about taking part in the forest race, Danny said. Yeah, a fox could never win, especially not one as little as you, Perry shouted as the two of them laughed. Maybe they have a point. Maybe I'm just not good enough, Melox said to himself, feeling less confident. Melox decided to take a break and headed towards a nasty-looking berry bush. He then grabbed the biggest berry he could see. Hey, I had my eye on that one, called a voice from behind. Melox was startled. When he saw that it was only Squirrel, he calmed down and apologised. Not to worry. I'm Marvin. I love berries. Blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. My family think it's weird as I don't like nuts. I must be the only squirrel to not like nuts, he eagerly replied. That berry's interesting. Oh, that's berry. I did it wrong. That's very interesting. Do you get it?
Yeah.
What?
Because he says he thinks it's better.
Very and berry. Do you get it? That's very interesting, Melox said jokingly. He'd never had a friend before, but he liked Marvin and hoped that Squirrel might be his first. I don't get it, said Marvin, confused. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm Melox, and I love berries too, but from what I've heard, the passion brands are the juiciest fruit in the whole forest. Marvin's eyes suddenly went wide with excitement. Can you do as big as Marvin's eyes? Your eyes.
I'm not blinking.
I've heard that too, and I sure do wish I had the opportunity to try one. As Melox and Marvin were getting to know each other, Oliver Owl flew past. Entries for the forest race must be in by the end of the day, he shouted. What? Why? Melox said alarmed. You sure seem in a panic for somebody who isn't entering, Marvin said curiously. Who isn't entering? Marvin said curiously. Melox lowered his head. Please don't laugh, but I was planning on entering this year. I just thought I'd have more time to practice before I made the definite decision. Cool, you should give it a go, Marvin replied. Melox looked at Marvin, surprised and confused. You don't think it's silly, even though I have no chance of winning? I really don't want to make a fool of myself in front of everyone, especially not Danny. Just a minute, Marvin went into his backpack and pulled out his forest map. Aha! There could be a way you could win the race, Marvin said confidently. That's fine, but why are you helping me? Melox asked. The question finally made Marvin look up from his map. Well, I hope that you will share a passion brand with me when my master plan helps you win. But that's not all. A few days ago, I was collecting some berries for my big night snack when Danny and Perry came over to me. Danny said, the squirrels don't eat berries, and knocked them out of my hand. Then Perry stomped on them all and laughed. They've been so mean, so it would be great to see someone else win the race for once. That's terrible. But don't worry, if you help me, then I promise to share the fruit with you, Melox replied. Great! If we practice every night until the race, you will have a good chance of winning with your dark fur. Danny won't spot us training in the dark, Marvin said excitedly. Melox had never heard anything so positive about black fur before, but he found it quite flattering. Marvin did have a good point. He wouldn't be easily seen, which meant that there was less chance of being spotted by Danny. This made Melox feel excited. I'd do it, but what is the plan? Don't worry, all will be revealed. We'll start tonight. Just meet me back here at dusk, Marvin replied with a smile. What's he doing, stretching? Dusk came and Melox anxiously waited by the berry bush. Maybe he's changed his mind, he thought, worried. Melox continued pacing up and down with a sigh of relief when he saw a figure in the distance making its way towards him. Apologies for the lateness. I was doing some more research. So as you know, the race is split up into 3 sections. First comes the run across the field, then the climb up the big hill, and finally the crossing of the great river, Marvin said, dropping his bag. Now, see that log over there? I want you to hop on and off using one leg at a time, he instructed. Melox looked at him unconvinced. What good will that do? It will help you with your balance and make your legs stronger for when that big day comes. Trust me, replied Marvin confidently. Melox continued.
Marvin?
No. Melox continued hopping on and off the log until he was bored. Distracted, he then started playing his favourite game, which involved sliding down the hill on the log instead. Stay focused, Marvin commanded. Messing around with logs isn't going to help you win the race, so let's give it another try. Now on phase 2, to improve your fitness, I want you to practice sprinting back and forth between those 2 trees. Keep going as fast as you can until I say, stop. Once again, Melox did what he was told. After a while, he found that he was very tired. He'd never done so much exercise before, but as he pictured himself eating a juicy passion bran, the thought stopped him from giving up. After Melox finished practicing his sprints, he then went on to the next phase. The next phase was a strange one. Marvin had marked points on a tree which Melox was expected to reach with his paws. A tree? Why am I climbing a tree? Foxes don't climb trees, and besides, isn't the last stage of the race a river? Melox asked with confusion. Don't worry about that. It's all part of my master plan, but let's stay focused. You'll soon find out. Trust me. Now, each time I blow the whistle, I want you to leap up the tree and grab the highest branch you can, Marvin demanded. From that night onwards, Melox and Marvin trained hard for the big race. Seeing how tired her grandson looked one afternoon, Grandma asked him if everything was okay. Yes, I'm fine, Grandma. I've just been practicing for the big race every night with my friend Marvin, and he thinks I might actually be able to do it, Melox said hopefully. Looking into her grandson's eyes, she could see how determined Melox was to succeed and was proud to see that Melox had such a good attitude towards the race. I've seen a change in you. You seem more confident, Grandma said. Well, just like your grandma, no one's going to hand me a passion bran. But if I want it, I must do what I can to get it, Melox said. That's my boy, Grandma replied with a smile. That's my boy. You say it? That's my boy. After many weeks of practice, the day of the big race finally arrived. All the animals gathered together at the starting line whilst Danny bragged about how well he was going to do. Melox looked for Martin and spotted him not far away from Perry Porcupine. He walked over to Martin. Hey Marvin, Melox shouted, but Perry overheard Melox's call. Why did you even bother coming to this race? Have you come to watch Danny? I bet he'll eat passion bran right in front of you when he wins, he sniggered. Leave him alone, Martin shouted. He's my friend. Melox suddenly felt delight to hear Marvin defend him. Although they had spent a lot of time together over the past few weeks, this was the first time he had heard the small squirrel call him a friend. Perry looked up at them both and laughed. Friend? I'm surprised anyone wants to be friends with somebody as strange as you. Anyway, losers, I want to go and find a good spot to watch Danny's victory. Then off he went.
Sort of been 15 minutes.
How rude. I really hope you beat Danny, Marvin said, frustrated. Me too, Melox replied. But remember, I told you I had a plan. Just before the river, there's a footpath to the left. Follow that footpath to the end, then all will be revealed, Marvin said cunningly. What? This is your master plan? A path? Wouldn't that just slow me down? Melox asked, confused. Trust me, it's all taken care of, the small squirrel replied confidently. Suddenly, Mayor Badger was at the starting line, then shouted, Attention everyone! Can all animals competing in the race please take their starting positions? Whilst Danny stood in the front, Melox could see that many deer, rabbits, otters, raccoons and bears were also participating in the race, but he was the only fox. Well, this is it, Melox. Are you ready? Marvin asked, looking at the lineup.
They're only the smallest people there.
They're the smallest people there, yeah. Look there.
Wait, let me give them. I'll show you how to do it. See? So, you see, you see, Melox and that people. See how big are they? Or see how small are them?
Carry on. Well, this is it, Melox. Are you ready?
Hit that subscribe button.
Marvin asked, looking at the lineup. I'm not sure, but I promise I'll give it my best, Melox replied. Just remember everything we practiced and you will be fine, Marvin said reassuringly. As Melox walked towards the starting line, he could see that all the animals were pointing and staring at him. They whispered quietly amongst themselves, but Melox ignored everybody and tried to stay focused. Then Mayor Badger shouted, On your marks!
Get set.
Go! The race began and Melox's heart was beating fast with nerves as he ran across the field. However, his little legs felt stronger than ever and he soon realised that all the hard work he had done training was paying off. The other animals were surprised when he managed to pass the rabbits, the raccoons, the otters, but Melox could see that he was going to have to do something special if he was ever going to catch up to Danny. As they approached the big hill, Melox felt confident, but then he tripped over a rock and fell into last place. Disheartened by his bad luck, he was ready to give up. However, when he thought about how hard Marvin and his grandma was cheering him on in the distance, he remembered his promise and realised that he just couldn't give up. By the time he reached the top of the hill, most of the animals were struggling to make their way down the slippery slope on the other side. As he watched them, he thought about how much fun it would be to play his favourite game on this big hill. That's when Melox had an idea. Where all other animals had attempted to run down the hill, the little fox grabbed a nearby log and used it to slide down the slope with his cunning move. Melox overtook more than half the animals. His pets sliding down. Amazed that he had even found a way back into the race, Melox once again felt like he had a chance. However, he knew that he would still need to do something special if he was ever going to catch up to Danny. As Melox got closer to the river, he was going over in his head what he had learnt with Marvin. In the distance, he could see the animals ahead of him struggling to swim across the deep river.
River.
No,
River.
deep water. I thought I was going to say river, but it says water.
No, look, river.
Oh, yeah, river's up there. But as he ran a little further, he was pleased to see the path Marvin mentioned before. Believing in his friend's plan, Melox ran down the path as fast as he could, feeling confident. When he got to the end of the path, he saw a big tree with a message on it saying, "Climb me." Melox didn't hesitate, and all the climbing training he had done with Marvin suddenly made sense. Marvin, you're a genius, he thought to himself as he finally understood his friend's master plan. While the other animals were still in the water swimming, they spotted Melox running along the tree that bent over the river. What's going on? Foxes don't climb trees, Danny exclaimed. Everyone was shocked, but Melox remained focused. I can do this, he kept saying to himself. As he ran, he could feel that the branch beneath him was just about to snap, but the fear only made him speed up even more. At the end of the branch, Melox leapt into the air and landed in a final stretch. Danny was so shocked to see that little Fox had caught up to him. Dun, dun, dun.
They're after him. Dun, dun, dun. You don't like this one.
Finish! Both competitors were neck and neck, but Melox could see that Danny was edging ahead. As the finish line approached, Melox put everything into that final leap, and everyone's surprised. It looked like both Danny and Melox crossed the finish line together. I won! No need for all the fuss. I'll just take the key back, Danny said, trying to reassure himself after giving it his all. Melox could take pride in his performance, but he was disappointed to have failed after coming so close. When he was just about to get up and congratulate Danny, Mayor Badger shouted, "Attention everyone! This race was very close, so I will have to look over the race in slow motion." After everyone had waited nervously for a few minutes, Mayor Badger came back and announced, "I am extremely proud to announce that we have a different winner this year, Melox the Fox! Woo-hoo!" Mayor Badger then walked over to Melox and presented him with a big prize. "Congratulations! How does it feel to be the first to win the forest race?" the mayor asked. "It's a little surprising, but I'm glad. All my hard work paid off. I just can't wait to bite into one of those juicy passion brands," Melox replied excitedly as all the animals cheered. Danny approached Melox. "I cannot believe I let a fox beat me, but one thing I am is fair, and I lost fair and square, so congratulations. Don't get used to them passion brands though. After the next race, they'll be mine again," he said. Perry, with an embarrassed look on his face, turned to Melox. "You were lucky this time, but your tricks won't work next time," he muttered. "You did it! Well done!" Marvin shouted as he approached. "No, Marvin, we did it." The others ran over to Melox. "Well done, bro. I can't believe you managed to outsmart everyone. That was amazing," Kenna said. "Yeah, that was a great way of winning. Everyone was so shocked," Kali continued. "Yeah, one day you might have to teach me how to ride logs like that," Kish finished. Grandma, overjoyed by the result, thought back to the time when others would say that winning the race wasn't the fox thing to do. However, after seeing her grandson win in such a cunning fashion, she realised that it was now. However, after seeing her grandson win in such a cunning fashion, she realised that it was now. "Well done, son. You have created history, and I am so proud
Why
of
did it
you,"
say history?
Huh?
Oh, you're not better.
she said, hugging him with delight. "Will you all get into the winner's picture with me?" Melox asked. "We'd be honoured, of course," they all said excitedly. While the photographer fumbled with his camera, Melox, his family, and Marvin huddled together. "Say cheese!" And they all go, "Passion brands!" Say cheese.
Passion brands.